Yeah, Ria, please start with the intro.
So, hello everyone, this is Ria, your host for today's webinar. Welcome you all in the Rotaract Club of Narsimonji's Entrepreneurship Development Avenue for our most awaited webinar, that is the startup culture in India. Talking about startups, have you ever wondered how a person going on a holiday had fight with the driver and came up with one of the most successful startups in India? That's Ola. Jack Ma getting rejected 10 times from Harvard and multiple job opportunities became the founder and chairperson of a multi-billionaire company Alibaba. Why is it so that some startups fail and some turn out to be super successful? For clarifying your queries, we have a very eminent personality with us, Mr. Puratan Bharti. He is the leader in driving top line revenue and bottom line growth, turning around business and fostering strategic alliances. Mr. Bharti has also been contributing in magazines like Forbes India from last 10 years and also has a strong experience in the corporate world. Mr. Bharti has completed his undergrad and postgrad from Pune and MS Finance from Temple University, USA. Also, he is a mentor at Niti Aayog for Atal Tinkering Labs. For those who aren't aware about this, Atal Tinkering Labs is an approach of central government of India to create an environment of scientific temperament, innovation, creativity amongst Indian students. He is also a business mentor at IIT Bombay. Sir, it is an honor to have you, and it would be really great if you could share something with us. Handing over to you, sir.
Thank you, Riaz. Thank you for such an elaborate sort of introduction, and that is what keeps us bringing to such platforms so that we speak. And I am really delighted and feel very honored to be part of the club of your college.
We would request everyone to please keep their mics on mute.
Yes, and as Ria is saying, so basic housekeeping. So we'll keep all our mics off and exercise democracy only when there are questions at the beginning of the end. So we will have monopoly right now, autocracy right now, because I will be speaking, and then we will have democracy at the end of the program where you can also ask questions. So thank you for keeping your mics shut or rather off. And I think we are getting adjusted. We have never lived this life of doing everything online. So I think it's perfectly okay to have technical glitches in between, and we are still adjusting to how we should be behaving. So thank you, Ria. Thanks again for bringing me on this platform and to your entire team, Mr. Ariman, who's been there, and to other members who've been in touch with me for this beautiful program. So, our topic obviously today is a startup, and we are all young energy here. So let us see what all thoughts we can actually evaluate on this platform. And as Ria started her dialogue by giving some of the examples that a traveler had a fight with the driver of the company of the cab that probably he had had, and that is how Ola started. And other some examples, I think. This is exactly what I wanted to address, that weakness, a persistent weakness, if there's something missing in the market, which does not make 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, I think that is an opportunity that we are trying to focus on. And before we begin our journey, there is also another interesting point that I want to mention. I am sure you all know about Mr. Bean. Do you know his greatest weakness? The greatest weakness that Mr. Bean has, or maybe had, or maybe still rather has, is that he could not, do theaters. He could not, if you give him a dialogue and if you ask him to get in a character, he would not be able to do so. He will stammer so much that he was not able to either get into theater successfully and forget about movies and other television programs. And that is why you see Mr. Bean as a silent character, someone who does not speak up at all. And his weakness became the greatest strength. He really captured onto that. And I think so he transformed his weakness into his greatest strength. So while you are having this journey of entrepreneurship and startup, I think you'll face a lot of weaknesses will come out. There are a lot of challenges that will come out, but you'll also think that you are weak at certain points in time. I think if you can channelize the energy from by realizing that it is something that is an inherent weakness, maybe within yourself, within your idea, within the team. I think if you can channelize that, that's the greatest strength that you can have, and probably that will be a multi-million-dollar idea. Mr. Bean is the greatest example that someone who could not speak in front of a camera, who would stammer all the times, is one of the most successful characters that we ever remember, probably after Mr. Charlie Chaplin. So this is a great example. And let us call his idea startup idea, because I'm sure he set up his company. It was a startup idea for himself. And with that thought, and on that note, let us sort of evaluate as to what are the steps that you would like to sort of evaluate and go through if you are setting up a startup. I have set up a startup. I have sold it off also. So that was my first merger and acquisition transaction, where I set up a company where I was providing the logistics work. So I was doing the marketing branding for a particular brand which was owned by me, of water, in and around Pune region. And then I sold it off to a larger manufacturer. And then I am working on a certain idea right now. In between, I have acted as consultant. I have acted as an employee and been through many transformations. But all through, you would understand that I have been consulting one or the other company, either in an individual role or in a corporate role. So the first thing that I did was to, if there is an idea around, you will have to study the competition. We think that this is the best idea that we have on the planet, but you'll have to really think through as to why this idea has not been capitalized by someone else. This idea could have existed for thousands of years on the planet, maybe in one or the other form, right? Maybe with or without technology. Probably thousands of years ago, we did not have that sort of technology, but obviously the ideas were there and they were done differently. The point that I'm trying to make is that if a certain idea has come to your mind, you really need to think as to why someone else has not done it. Now, you would also realize the fact that startups are not only done by young guys. There are big guys also, like Reliance, which are investing, or for example, Hero MotoCorp or Mahindra, which are investing in startups. Tata has also invested in a couple of startups. We have a local company here, which is not really local per se, but it is based out of Pune, so I call it local. But otherwise, it's a world-class company. Bharat Forge has also invested in a lot of ideas. So why, if a certain idea exists, you will have to write it on a piece of paper and figure out as to why so far no one has exploited this idea. And you would realize in most of the situations that this idea has either been exploited by someone else in some or the other form. Maybe they succeeded, maybe did not succeed. The idea of internet TV, for example, was brought at least 15 to 20 years ago. The very moment we had this penetration of internet, and that time the penetration of internet in India and the speed was not that fast, but at least if you look to the Western world, the speed was quite enough. So at least 10 years, I would say, there are companies, including Microsoft, that have been trying to bring internet TV, but the idea did not penetrate. Now, if you are trying to launch an internet TV, I'm sure you would have to study these case studies as to what happened during that time, as to these startup ideas did not succeed. So first of all, you have to study the competition. I am sure someone or the other guy, if you're really lucky, then no one has done it. But if you're not that lucky, I'm sure someone has done it in one or the other form. And you need to evaluate as to why the idea worked. If the idea is existing, if someone is doing it, to what extent can you sort of tweak it to make it more effective? So, Uber always existed in the Western world. It is Ola, like Ria said, brought it to India, but Uber always existed. And if Ola was studying the market, I'm sure they were studying Meru cabs and cool cabs that existed in and around Mumbai. So you'll have to study the competition into what form they exist, and the biggest answer that should come out of it is what part of the problem we are trying to address. Now, if we are looking at the example of Meru cabs and cool cabs, do you know what was the greatest challenge? One was obviously the pricing. The second was it was not that you would not never have a feeling that it was so transparent. So one, you will always feel that it was pricey. Second, you will not never feel that it was transparent. The third, which was the biggest challenge, is you would have to go to the pickup point. So you would have to go to the station or to the airport or to their designated areas where probably Meru cabs would pick you up if it was not a corporate booking. If there was something ad hoc that you were doing in the middle of the night, I think you were doing it through travel agents. So there were multiple layers involved, and the guarantee that the person will come or not come was not known. The another challenge was that the drivers would always say that we are 30 minutes away, or I'm coming in 14 minutes, or 45 minutes, or I'm coming in 15 minutes. Now you would have no way of knowing that whether he's actually reaching you in 15 minutes. So this is all addressed in the part that I mentioned, is there was no transparency on the cost factor. One driver would charge differently than the other driver. It would depend on the time of the day you were booking. It would depend on the person who you were taking booking from. So these were the challenges that were addressed by guys like Ola. Obviously, there are differential charges for Ola. So if you nighttime, if you book, and time if you book, there's pricing. But the vehicle comes to your house. If that guy cancels, if that particular driver cancels the order, you pick up order, it is allocated to someone else, and it is the same price. If it is within the same time zone, and there is no change in the peak level or in the traffic level, or in the demand level, the pricing would remain the same. So I'm sure when Ola came to the market, they did a beautiful study on the competition, a very well, an in-depth study of the competition as to why Ola would or would not succeed. So even before you think of an idea or launching an idea per se, or discussing it with someone, I think I would really go back to the drawing board and understand my sector. So if for example, I am an automotive specialist, I live in and around Pune. I have been around Pune. I have lived in Pune for almost all my life, except for the time that I spent in United States. I understand the automotive industry very well. I understand, and since I understand the automotive industry very well, I also understand the electric industry, the EV that we're talking about, right? So electric vehicles that we're talking about, because these are related concepts and they are emerging concepts. Now, if I am studying the EV space, if I want to launch a two-wheeler electric vehicle, either myself or if I'm mentoring someone from, say, IIT Bombay as part of their social entrepreneurship development program, I would first look at which all companies have invested in EV, which all of them are importing from, say, purely from China and other countries, Southeast Asian countries, and selling it, which companies are partly importing and doing the assembly here. So I will have to understand the whole process. What is the process of the manufacturing, of the supply chain, where the bottleneck is the EV. If I have to book an EV scooter, for example, does it take 15 days, 1 month, 2 days, 3 days? I'll have to study. I'm sure you have heard all these stories from parents that Bajaj scooter, especially the Chetak scooter, would sometimes take 5 to 10 years after booking, right? So there was a supply chain issue that was solved by these Japanese automotive makers when they came to India. So if you book a scooter, you would get it within, say, within a month or so. There were other challenges also related to it, which was a currency problem. So, there was a licensing regime also. So the idea is, have we studied the competition and how is the competition manufacturing it and also addressing the supply chain issues? Because that is where the success lies. If you market it well and if you're not able to sell it well, if you're not able to supply it on time, then starts the fall of your company, of the startup idea. Because if it is a good idea, you will have a lot of demand. But if you're not able to supply it on time, if the supply is stuck for whatever reason, whether it is known, unknown, whether it is natural calamity, it will create a lot of bad branding, ill branding for your company. So while you are studying the competition from a market research perspective, you will also have to study their supply chain and their manufacturing processes, because I think the first idea is that you can bring in efficiency in the supply chain. So reduce the lead time from maybe 2 months to 15 days to 2 weeks to a week or something like that. In the manufacturing process itself, if raw material constitutes 70% of your cost, if you're manufacturing an electric vehicle, for example, a two-wheeler, which is a scooter, for example, for 100,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees, and if the cost of the raw material, which is the direct cost, which you all study in your, either you are studying or have studied in your accounting program, if that itself is about 70,000 rupees, which is 70% of the of your revenue, if that could be somehow reduced and brought to 65%, that 5% will ensure that that 5% could give you the money for sustainability, for ensuring that you can sustain your business when there is no business. That additional money could be paid for paying to your to the talent that you want to hire. That 5% could be paid for marketing initiatives. So that's the first part of the problem. And Ria, do let me know when you'll have to guide me on the time front, because I have a certain time frame in mind. But I think since it is almost I'm sure with camera in presence, this is a two-way communication. So I think do let me know how you would like to shape up my talk. Once you have studied the competition and the market, you have done the market research, you will have to come up with a very creative name. Creative names attract people. Name is basically your brand, is your identity. So you'll have to go to a good digital person, a digital guy who can develop a good logo. So invest some amount of money in developing a good logo, branding, which should be a nice combination of color and should convey the idea that you're talking about, and also have it with a punchline. So for example, the startup idea that I have right now I'm working is okay, so there's some update from Zoom here. All right, so the startup idea that I'm working right now is, I train people, because I come from a finance background, I train people on investments in stock markets. And with pandemic, the focus has been on technical trading. So there, technical analysis is a program that we've been talking about. So while you have heard about fundamental analysis, finding out which is a good company, I'm also doing programs and speaking to people across India, and I have students from US also on technical analysis, which is about when to enter a stock or when to enter a particular asset class. It could be gold, oil, etc., etc. Now the logo that I have created with a lot of thought in mind is an owl. Now you'll be surprised. The designer was also surprised that why are you using an owl, right? And it has a ticker, a stock chart. So you know this stock price movements. So an owl is sitting on it seems as if it's sitting on a graph which represents the stock price movement. Now why an owl? Because owl is the Vahan for goddess Lakshmi. And when you look at that, so, first thought is why this owl? Owl is about money. As per Hindu mythology, it is considered that, Lakshmi ji rides on owl. There is Muhurat trading, which is done in BSE and NSE. I'm sure all of you know. So on the day of Diwali, there is Muhurat trading done on it. And then that owl is sitting on a graph, which seems like, so I'll show you sometime. It's sitting on these candles, which is red and green in color. So when you look at these red and green candles, you come to know that these are stock prices. So it conveys something, that it has got something to do with stocks and investments. So your idea has to convey, and then it says practice, perform, and enhance. So, the idea is saying that you'll have to first learn and then practice and perform. So it has to have a punchline beneath that. The biggest mistake that we do is we do not copyright the idea. So I have already, before I disclose this idea to the platform, it has gone to the trademark office for copywriting, because this idea, this this logo, which is my identity, can be stolen. Right? There are good people in the world and there are bad people in the world also. It could be very, very easily stolen. Even if it is not stolen, it can be manipulated and used in a different form. So I am sticking to this idea, and I have copyrighted the logo itself so that no one is able to use it in this combination at least. So you'll have to copyright the idea. Once you have done that, you will so you have the idea, you have done the research, you decide that, okay, this is the product that I want to launch. You have the branding with you. Now you are really looking for funds, so that is an important aspect. And there are a couple of more aspects before we talk about pre and pandemic situation and take some questions from you, some participating questions from you. The idea that we are talking here about is funding part of it. You have a beautiful idea, but there is always, you have read it in economics. So I'm sure all students of economics, and I know that there are students of economics also, that money is a scarce resource that has been taught to you. I think in maybe in 12th standard, 11th standard, if you had taken commerce or rather economics, and also in your first year, FY and SY and onwards, wherever you go, you read that money is a scarce resource. So there's always there is a dearth of money that you can put from your own pocket. So this idea that you are looking at, startup, now there is a choice, and this is a very pertinent question that I'm talking about. So, and a problem that I'm trying to address, and listen to it very carefully. So I started a company, created a company, ran it beautifully, and sold it off to the manufacturer from where I was doing it. I was just doing the branding and the logistics part of it. Now the question is, why did I do it? Why did I sell it? I was getting more money by actually running the business. I had created such a beautiful brand of the water that the manufacturer got interested in it. Then that was my first merger and acquisition transaction after I came back from US. And then after doing this transaction, there was a group which was actually looking for people who had business experience and could advise on merger and acquisition. So I took up that job. The question was whether I start another startup, I do my second startup, or I continue with this consulting / job. This question you will ask, every student will ask on this platform, if you are going to make, say, 50,000 rupees a month, and exactly the same amount you are going to make from the startup, right? And even after 4 or 5, because in a job you will have sort of stagnancy and stability. So from 50,000 in the job, if you're making 50,000, maybe you'll be making 60,000, 65,000, 70,000. After 5 years, if we look at your career, maybe if you have a package of 50,000 per month, I'm just assuming given the scenario, because salaries are not improving very significantly right now. We have seen a phase where salaries were jumping off like anything. 10%, 20% hike, 30% hike was nothing like it. Now, given the COVID, and because all the corporate have been affected, salaries will increase in the range of 5 to 10%. So if you take an accumulation, maybe from 50,000, which is 6 lakh rupees an annual package, maybe 5 years down the lane, you are at 10 lakh, 15 lakhs. Even after 5 years of doing your startup, if you are making the same amount of money, then there is rather no point in doing a startup. The point that I'm going to introduce to you is that your idea should be scalable. Scalable enough. What do I mean by scalable? That from 50,000 earnings per month, it should be this should go to 5 lakh rupees per month. The reason we don't do jobs, the reason we don't get into jobs is because jobs are not scalable. You can work for only one person. Your salary will grow only at the rate of inflation, which is about 5 to 10% yearly. In certain cases, in pandemic, maybe your jobs will be lost or will not grow altogether. But if you're doing a startup, and if you're not growing in X terms after 5 years and 10 years, you would rather kill that idea and get onto a job. So the first question you'll ask is, how much money I will be making 5 years from now? Who will answer that question? That an Excel sheet, which is known as business valuation or financial modeling, or rather projections, which will put your thoughts honestly, because this question you're answering to yourself. So you will answer to yourself from year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the revenue in first year? What is the revenue going to be in the second year? what is the revenue going to be in the third year, fourth year, and fifth year. So you are actually making a P&L starting this year maybe for another 5 years until 26 or 27. And then you will also put your profitability percentage, and whether I am going to make 10% from this business, net profit I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the EBITDA level. I'm sure you all understand EBITDA level. If you do not understand EBITDA level, this is operating margin. So we will talk about operating margin, but I'm talking about net profit that you're taking home as an entrepreneur. Is it 10%? Is it 20%? Is it 30%? What is the amount every month that you're taking home? If that 5 years later or 10 years later is something your effort, because as an entrepreneur, you are a CEO, you are a CFO, you are a marketing guy, you are the peon of your company, you are the HR of your company, you have to perform all roles. You are doing for the sake of passion, but your family should not suffer because of that. So money is an important factor, which, startup and incubation platforms talk a lot about doing startups and getting into startups, but no one talks about money. So the first question you have is 2 questions right in front of you: a job versus startup. Value your company. If you cannot value, if you cannot do financial modeling, if you cannot project, go to your chartered accountant or your dad's chartered accountant, your friend's chartered accountant, ask, this idea can grow at what rate? And that is exactly what we do. We tell you, given the segment, at what rate your ideas can grow. If it is from FMCG, for example, if you come with a very fascinating biscuit that does not exist on this planet, forget about this planet, it does not exist on the entire universe. This is so special a biscuit. Maybe in the initial years, this will grow. I'm just trying to make it interesting so that you don't sway away and your thoughts don't go away. Maybe in the initial years, it will grow by 50% or 100%. But as time progresses, and you know that there is a declining curve, you have read that in economics, so it goes like this. It's a parabolic, inverted parabola, it goes downwards, right? Maybe in the third and fourth and fifth year, after so many people have eaten this chocolate and are used to it, and this biscuit rather, the idea will grow at only 15-20% and maybe stabilize to 5% growth rate. That you have to figure out at what rate it will grow. Will this idea be big enough so that, from 1% company, it becomes to 2% company, it becomes a 5% company, it becomes a 100% company. Is that dream possible? If the dream is possible, then the idea is worth going for. If this is going to be a 1% company, then you have to think differently. Then that is not a startup, rather, right? And it may be called a startup because it is startup in terms of the age, but this is a sole proprietorship that you're doing for yourself and continue to be doing for yourself. So you have opened like a kirana shop, a small office, a small shop that you're doing for yourself, and you are contented with that. But if you are thinking of examples like Ola, or there are other examples like Redbus and other examples, which are real startup in that sense. You have Big Basket, you have Zomato. These are all startup of scalable nature. Zomato may have started from one city. It has spread to all over India now. Swiggy started from few cities, and that has spread to so many cities. So this is scalable. They have so many people employed with them. That is the idea of scalability. So what the CEO, what the founder was making when Swiggy started, he's making 10x, 20x, I don't know how many X's now in terms of the profit that he's making. And that is why this will make your idea sustainable. So the important point is valuation, who will do it. While we can advise you on the growth rates, etc., we can advise you to a certain extent given our engagement with various programs. A chartered accountant can actually help you in building this one. If you want to do it, there are a lot of channel videos on YouTube. So go and figure out what is the financial modeling, what is the business projection. And I'm sure one of your programs also talks about business projection, which I will take a feedback once we open the platform for discussions. So that is on the valuation part, which is the most important. And you are not going ahead with it without having looked at it, without evaluating that. Then comes the idea of, once you know that what is the company's worth, how much money you need right now, whether it can come from your pocket, and your own pocket means a friend and family. So initially it is okay to accept a friend and family, but even after 5 years, you'll not be accepting from friends and families. No, that's not the way of startup. You'll not be putting your own money, because then you have to treat it as a professional company. And I'm sure you know that there is a difference between a promoter and owner. That is where you make the balance sheet. So while you may be the owner of the company, it is a separate business. It is a liability for the balance sheet, right? So the business balance sheet treats you differently, right? This you have already in accounting concepts. So then you will look at raising funds from professional investors. And if you are based out of Mumbai and Pune and maybe also Bangalore, there are professional advisors like us who help in fundraising, right? Though my domain is now a little different, there are a lot of advisors who focus on startups, on helping them in fundraising. And if it is a good idea, maybe you receive funds from Infosys. They have their own private equity fund, which is I think handled by the son of the chairman. So you have recently done a program with Mrs. Murthy. So Mr. and Mrs. Murthy's son handles the seed fund of Infosys, I think, which comes from the personal investment. So all these big companies like Mahindra, Bajaj, Bharat Forge here, all these Indian promoted companies have their entities for putting seed capital in your companies. But that idea has to be really worth it, because if Ratan Tata's team is going to look into it, or for example, if Bajaj family's team is going to put your time into it, it has to be well evaluated. So you'll have to go through a professional round of consulting, who could be your friends, just mentors who could be doing it without money. So if you come to me, we don't charge, obviously, because my focus is something else. So the idea is you have to get your ideas evaluated well, and then you start looking for fundraising. You also have to have a good legal advice. So you have to have a legal advisor who can always advise you, because people will start stealing your ideas. And then comes the last part, which is the marketing strategy that we're talking about. So you'll have to have a good marketing team around it, marketing strategy. And in the initial years, you're not looking to add a lot of fixed costs. So you can operate from your house, which is the prevalent culture. You can operate from a garage. You can operate from a second-hand office, office which is not so beautiful. So you're not looking at adding too many fixed costs. You are looking at adding a lot of variable costs, and hence you would look at finding the right co-founder. You don't want too many employees to come in the initial years. You want people who can contribute to the growth, who charge the least amount, who believe in your success story, who believe in your profitability, earnings, and who can be a part of it rather than asking too much price. You must be aware that there are a lot of senior people who have quit the big jobs. I think, in fact, Mr. Saurav Jain is one of the examples where I did the sort of moderated the fire chat. And Saurav Jain, as you know, was the VP of Paytm. These guys have left their lucrative jobs and money and a very fascinating, handsome package, and started their own companies. So you need people who are willing to forego a lot of high fixed cost, because if you have a very high fixed cost, and fixed cost, as you know, can actually impact the startup, can actually kill the idea. So you are looking for a lot of co-founders or employees who can act as founders, to whom you can allocate shares, but don't ask for a lot of high salaries or enhance to your fixed costs. So I think these are some of the points that you should actually look at. Study competition, do your market research. You have to look at the funding angle. You have to do the naming part of it, the copyright part of it. You have to evaluate your marketing strategies. You'll have to do a test run for it. Go and check whether this works or not. So when I was selling the bottle, while I was engaged, as I said initially, the startups are driven by few people and sometimes one person. So when I was selling this own brand of bottled water, I would, carry the bottle in the evening. So daytime I was busy with so much of regulations. I had to take so many approvals because I was selling something which is very critical to life, right? So you have to take so many permissions from the government. In the evening, I was doing marketing. So someone jokingly asked me, why do you come at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock to us and do this marketing? I said, I was traveling to Goa or I was going to Mumbai. This is the only time I had because I could not give them excuses. So certain products, you'll have to carry your product along with a lot of respect. You have to value your product and then work really hard for it. The startup idea that I'm creating, a lot of colleges would be adopting that. That's on the training them, doing investments and using the platform that I train. There are other colleges that I would not name right now on this platform, but they are looking, evaluating, and I have a lot of students who study under me, get trained under me. This is a startup idea. I want to take this startup idea from a manual intervention to artificial intelligence. So the programs and codes that we write should be able to take a lot of filtering for us. So if you are looking at certain stock patterns, we want the artificial intelligence to read the stock patterns and tell us that this is the right time, and then we take a call on that. So we do with that a lot of passion. We work for 16 hours, 18 hours. There are no time frames that we work. Sometimes we sleep early, 10 o'clock, you will see me sleeping and get up at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the night, and I'm watching the US market or I am testing the strategy. Sometimes we are dreaming in our dreams and testing the strategies. So you need a passion of all this, that will be the spinning wheel, the driving factor is your passion, nothing else. Money, you don't know whether money will come or not, that you don't know. The product will become successful or not. You will do all your plannings, whether that is successful or not, whether that will actually, you do scenario analysis, scenario 1, 2, 3, 4, whether this will hold true, whether this will hold true. Maybe all the scenarios fail. At the end of the day, what really works for you is the passion. And I have read a book, I think there are 13 ideas. Someone has said that you are given about 13 chances in life, so that you can test all these ideas. And even if the 13th idea works, I think you are a successful startup, and I think you've done the job. And my final note to it: if you have gone through this entire process and set up a successful startup, you are the greatest service to the nation. We need a lot of startups. We need job creators. We have been too dependent on the corporate. You'll have to take risk. At the end, I said, you have to be so passionate that you really don't care whether money comes or not. Even if you have to walk barefoot because you did not have money that day, those are the situations that you will face. But if your idea has worth in it, if it has got salt in it, if it has got metal in it, if it has got some worth in it, it will become a successful idea. But the point is, what will drive all this is your passion. If you can carry this passion in whatever form, either in a for-profit or for not-for-profit, which is known as social entrepreneurship, wherein we are also a business mentor for IIT Bombay. It is the greatest service to the nation because nation cannot create jobs, too many jobs. We need job creators. With this thought, I stop my thought here. And I think, do we still have time left? Then I would take pre and post-pandemic situation. Otherwise, we come to the questions. Ariman and Ria, if you can let me know.
Sir, I think we should jump into the Q&A part right now, so that
Absolutely. So yes, and the only part is, sum it up, the pre and pandemic, we were meeting. For startups, you would ask to call and present, and that has all shifted online. And I think obviously there is a lot of technology. So the idea without technology will not be scalable, at least, because you have to sell sitting here in India. I am selling my idea to my US students, to students in Germany, to students in Dubai. Is the same concept. So if it is scalable, my idea is global. Your idea could be multi-state. Your idea could be multi-country. So that's the idea. So it has to be scalable. Otherwise, simply take up a job. That's it. So we open the floor for a Q&A session. And I hope you found some useful thoughts in it. Do let me know your feedback through the organizing team, which is Ria, Samadhi, and Ariman, as I see here.
Sir, just before starting the Q&A part, I just want to tell all the participants that you can unmute yourselves now for asking the question. And if you are not comfortable by unmuting, you can put in your questions in the chat box to sir or to everyone so that everyone can view your questions. So,
Okay, so I keep my chat box here and I type hi, so you can see that chat box
yeah.
is working and the technology
So,
is supported.
yeah. So those who all want to ask their questions, you can either unmute or either ask your questions in the chat box.
Yes, I would be very happy to interact one-to-one, though digitally, but in form of a voice. But even if you want to type it in writing, that is okay. But let's have few questions, please, so that we know that.
Then actually, I had one question that
Absolutely.
recently, there has been a hike of 5% in salaries in 2020 and 2021, and the inflation rate is around 9% now. So there is a huge difference between the salary hike and inflation rate. So we can't meet the expenses through those. So does this even affect the funding of a startup? Like the inflation, the 9% inflation, does it even affect the funding of a startup?
Well, a good question, and I think quite a, a significant question, I would say. See, you will have to check what is the CPI levels, and maybe you can just chat while we are talking. So if you can, someone chat, see what's the CPI level. The WPI is about 4%, which has just doubled. So if someone can support me on the number of CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index, the recent one, the WPI is about 4%. So I am little worried on the 9% figure. Salary hike is about 5 to 10%, and though you hear a lot of good stories about IT companies and other segment companies giving a lot of distributing the cash and giving a lot of hikes, and despite pandemic, etc., it is to the entire lot. And a company as large as Infosys would have maybe will have about 2.5 lakh employees. So when it sort of is distributed across to all the employees of a particular tech company, the hike that you get is a limited number that you spoke about. Yes, inflation is a concern, certainly. It will eat into your the salary hikes, certainly. And if it's more than the salary hike, obviously it is eating into your, because if the inflation is 5% and you get a hike of only 2%, so obviously it is eating away into your hike. So it is actually negative. So it doesn't help you. Does it really impact the startup? So hold on to that thought and let us understand as to what is happening now. So inflation had sort of declined, during the pandemic. And when you see there is a recession, how do you know there is a recession? When for 180 days or for 6 months, when you see that the GDP, quarterly GDP is going down for last 6 months. So you say that there is a pandemic. So 6 months, so 180 days, if you've seen the economy going down, you say that, okay, this is recession. What happens in recession? Obviously, because there is no demand for it, people don't have money, inflation comes down. But because of the supply chain, see, I was talking about supply chain. So let us bring that thread and connect those dots and the threads. Because of the supply chain issues, containers are stuck. China was not sending materials to us. We were not importing from many countries. There are no operations happening. People were not available at JNPT port, because of social distancing, etc., work from home, and a strict lockdown. So there was a supply chain breakage, because of which what happened is that there was an artificial shortage created, which led to the inflation. We also have instances where people, despite having the product, they sort of corner it off, and because of which is not a healthy practice, the prices move up. So inflation has been starting inching up now, which was not the case earlier during pandemic. It has started inching. Will this impact? This will certainly impact your investment, your salary hikes, your loans. This will certainly impact. So your interest rate will go up. Your FD rate, if it does not go up, you will be impacted. If you got a salary hike of 5%, the inflation rate is say 6%, you'll be impacted. Does it really impact the startup culture? Startup culture is looking at 5 years of time frame. All these inflation numbers are released quarterly. So for another 5 years, the inflation is not going to be remain. Inflation is a fact of life. And as you have studied in economics, it's a double-edged sword, right? So without inflation, we are in recession. If we have too much of inflation, it will kill our money. So you need inflation for sure. And it is momentary inflation. If it goes beyond, RBI is there. It controls through MPC, which is Monetary Policy Committee meetings, which is open market operations, it will control. So in the short run, it really does not impact RMN inflation. If it is persistent, yes. For example, if you go to Zimbabwe and you have these fancy stories that inflation is, I don't know, million percentage or what, and their currency is absolutely devalued to a crazy levels. In that cases, yes. But these are short-term numbers, so not really. There is a question from Samriddhi, I guess. Sir, I wanted to ask how much it is important for startups to accept new technology or even internet, and how much it will impact their growth, especially after pandemic. Technology is the most important because you'll not be able to reach out to your clients without technology. If you have something like pandemic again, God forbid, but maybe 15 years, 20 years later, you have something like pandemic and you don't have technology to reach out to them, so it's difficult. Whether your product uses technology or not, that's a different question altogether. So if you are making something a handicraft product, or it's done by hand, stitched by hand, it may or may not use a technology, because the value there itself is hand stitched, handmade, right? If you go to Europe, hand stitched products have a lot of value. For example, when they come here and we show them factories where the leather of the seats or of the steering wheels is hand stitched, they say, wow, this is such a pricey thing. So they say this goes into, say, Lamborghini, etc. The price you'll fetch is very high. So the product may not use technology, but the sales part of it has to use. The marketing part of it has to definitely use technology. Otherwise, how will you reach to your clients? So I think I've answered your question. Any more questions?
So I had a question.
Yes,
so
please
what's
go ahead.
the usual time for first seed funding in an incubation?
What is the usual time for receiving seed funding?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
it could be as low as 6 months to maybe 2-3 years also. The general
Hello.
period 2-3 years.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead. I think you have a question. I can hear.
सर आज संडे है और आज होली है, तो आज भी क्लास लगी है?
हाँ जी, हेलो।
मैं कह रहा हूँ आज संडे है और आज होली है, आज भी क्लास लगाई है आपने?
Yeah, this is a question from someone. There is some voice, interacting voice. Not very sure where this voice is coming from. Okay, I think this is from Fateh Yadav. You had a question. Have I answered?
Yes.
Okay. So this question is from Fateh Yadav. It says, what is the most important part to consider before any startup for X fund or profit? What is that meaning? If you can explain what is fund or profit. I have a little bit.
So I want to understand, if we want to any startup, so what we require to consider before any startup?
थोड़ा सा अगर आप समझा के बोलेंगे और फिर से if you can just explain. I am trying to understand your question.
Sir, actually, sir, if we want to start any startup,
हाँ जी.
so what is the most important point which we require to consider, like fund availability, or we require to consider profit, how much profit we will get, or how much fund we require to start up?
सर
What
चाय
is
के
the
बिजनेस
main
में कितना
point we
पैसा
require
लगता
to consider?
Yes, I think it's a good question. It's a very good question.
है?
And
चाय के बिजनेस में कितना पैसा लगता है?
I think it is a very important question. The question that we have is,
चाय के बिजनेस में कितना पैसा लगता है?
just hold on, I will come to it. Ria, can you mute the person who's speaking in between?
No sir, no. रिया म्यूट नहीं करना, मैं लास्ट वार्निंग दे रहा हूँ. रिया सर को म्यूट मत करो, सर को अनम्यूट कर।
Yes, thank you.
Sir, I'm
So,
sorry about that. I have muted everyone right now. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. No problem. So the most, I think the most important, and these problems happen. So don't worry about it. These come up, and we are pretty much used to it. So that's absolutely okay. And these we define as technical glitches. So don't worry about it. It's absolutely part of life. Or we will answer that question one to one. Chai kitne paise? I think Mr. Modi ji can answer that, how much money is required. I think you asked a very pertinent question, Fateh Yadav, as to what is the most important criteria for starting up, for even thinking about going for a startup, whether it is fund, whether it is profit, whether it is the idea, whether it is sellable or not, whether it is addressing some part of the problem or not. That is you have to look at. So if you launch a scooter, whether a scooter exists in the market or not. You'll launch a motorcycle thinking whether a motorcycle exists in the market or not. So you'll have to look at what part of the problem you're addressing and whether that problem has been addressed by already by someone or not. So that is what you need to figure out. So I hope I have answered your question. You have to look at as to what is missing, what is not addressed, and whether the idea is sellable or not. For example, if you know there was a particular, because I just remembered, there was a particular, there was an ad from a particular company for travelers, for business travelers. So, you have these shirts and most of these business travelers, corporate travelers, senior managers are traveling throughout the entire month. And this is obviously pre-pandemic. So 15, 20 days they were traveling. So a particular company came up with a shirt which does not require to be ironed or, to be pressed. So you can wear it and it will not be sort of torn, you can just pack it again and then sort of travel. So they were trying to address a problem for these corporate travelers, for these business travelers, for these business managers, senior managers, who were having to either carry a lot of luggage or would be required to give it to in a hotel. You really either have to press yourself or give it to the laundry of the hotel, and then it charges too much. So they were trying to address a problem. So you have to look at what problem you are trying to address. This is a question from Harsh Jain. What if my startup plan is based on creating an app, but if I am not a person of IT background, should I invest money by hiring the software person and spending thousands just before the business? Okay, so if you're not an IT person from an IT background, should I invest money by hiring the software and spending thousands just before the business? If you're not an IT person, obviously you need a technology guy. The best idea is to have him as a part of the profit making rather than paying him money. If it's a small thing, obviously you can give money to him. But if it's a recurring cost, if it's a recurring cost and you're going to need the support of the IT person, which most obviously you would need, so make him rather a business partner in the whole idea. If you need digital marketing, why not have a digital marketing partner? When you sell the idea, when you sort of get funding, he also gets a proportionate share of money from the idea. All right. So I think I've answered. Any more questions apart from the questions on the T and how much money it is required? Ria, maybe you can take a control. You can ask these questions, and or Ariman, you can take the control. We can answer these questions one to one.
So I think that's pretty much it.
Sir, I think we'll just stick to asking them in the chat box because a few people are, creating a bit of ruckus due to the if I ask them to unmute. So I'm just
Yeah, that's a good idea, and we can edit this portion of these videos for our generations to view, for future people to view this, which is absolutely fine. Technical glitch, and we know that some people do enter such chat rooms uninvited, so that's absolutely okay.
Yes. So if anybody has any questions or queries, you can just ask in the chat box now. And if not, then I think we can conclude. So we'll just wait for a few minutes then.
Yes, we can wait for a couple of minutes. And I hope largely I have addressed the issues that we were looking to in terms of the startup. So your marketing research is very, very important. And marketing research, not just of the product, but also of the idea. The idea, and this is exactly what Mr. Fateh Yadav was asking, that what is the most important. So first go and check, test your idea, whether that will be sellable or not. And maybe someone has already done it and failed. In most of the situation, you will see that the person has already done it. Someone has done it and failed. So you have to figure out the reasons for his failure and improve it. The moment you improve it, I think you are successful. You will succeed in that idea. Yeah.
Sir, I think there aren't any more questions, so we can conclude the session now. So I would request Ria to please end the session with the conclusion.
Yes. Perfectly. Thank you. Thank you for hosting me. Thank you, Ria. Thank you, Ariman. And I think Samriddhi is also part of the team, if I'm not mistaken, because I see 3 videos in front of me. Rest all are, I think, all screens, blank screens. So I'm assuming Samriddhi is also part of it. So thank you for hosting me. And so let's call it a day then.
Thank you so much, sir. It was an honor and indeed a very thoughtful. It definitely broadened our mind, our perspectives on startups. The way you explained Mr. Bean's story of converting his weakness and turning it to strengths, and how you can scrutinize your startup idea and view it in a broader way. So, thank you so much, sir. We got an insight into a mind of an entrepreneur. It was an honor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ria. Thank you, Arman. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks a
All
lot,
right.
sir.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thanks. Thanks, sir. Bye.